Hello, everybody, and welcome to the deck retrospective for Eric and Eric's blind run through the Innsmouth Conspiracy. We're going to be talking about Silas Marsh and also Ursula Downs here, kind of talking about the deck, what worked, what didn't work. And we're going to also be careful not to spoil because we just finished the final scenario here, but this video is coming out before the final scenario, so we're going to not talk about how they did in the last scenario, but we're going to kind of talk about the decks as a whole, how we feel they did. Just a classic little retrospective here, and we'll start with your Silas deck, Eric. I'll let you take it away.
So with Silas, one thing I discovered was that Silas is very much just a strong, good value character. I really enjoyed playing him. This is my first time also just kind of being like, Mythos deck, okay, and just soaking it, and it actually worked uncomfortably well. Like, you just suffer, and it's fine.
Yeah, you just have a little bit of hardship, but then you get through it, and you're like, wait a minute, should I have just always been having that hardship?
Yeah.
Like, is that the right way?
Yeah, 100%. So I thought Silas was a really good character. I really enjoyed playing him. I definitely felt like he was, if I was to make a comparison, I prefer playing mono black, but this definitely felt like a red deck wins, where you're just like, I'm just going to keep doing stuff. And as long as I keep doing stuff, I'm going to keep winning. And I'm just going to out-tempo everyone else because I just don't stop.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
From previous discussions that we've had on this channel, you often say that you find the most comfort in both in Magic, but then also it translates to ARKHAM, when you can have you can relate it to like a mono-colored strategy, or alternatively, you prefer mono-color in Magic.
Yes.
You often say, for example, like when you watch me play a rogue deck, it's watching like a blue-black combo deck.
Yeah.
Or like a band combo deck, and you're like, I can't frick with that.
Yeah.
Would you say that Silas worked for you because you felt that he was just basically like, you knew what to do with his resources, and you didn't have to think that hard about it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's just outvalue everything. And if you can't outvalue everything, you die. But don't worry, you just have more value.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. So the first thing I did to do that was, based on Silas's net and Sea Change Harpoon, I put in Anchor Chain, and I put in Hand Hook. And I have to say, all the way till the end of the game, I never felt like it was necessary to get rid of either of these. They always felt good. It felt like what I had was I had 3 of Silas's net and 3 of Silas's Harpoon in worse versions, significantly worse versions. But because they were only $3, because I was very cheap as a deck, I never felt bad throwing them out. I never felt bad using them from hand. I never felt bad throwing one out to replace it with the actual net or the actual harpoon. And it just got me there. Yeah. And that's all I wanted to do with it.
Yeah, it did the job enough while you waited for the real things.
Yes.
Yeah.
The real thing being Sledgehammer level 3.
Yeah.
So I do see the argument that Sledgehammer without the upgrade is sometimes better. The 2 action versus the 3 action is good. But I actually found that the 1 action was good enough in the Silas deck to get me where I needed to go.
Yeah, the top actions. Yeah, you sacrifice a bit of that like utility and versatility of the bottom action, and Silas probably could with skills get through it. But just having that top action to just work it is really nice.
Which was also why I enjoyed having the hook and the anchor chain, because you can just discard them from hand to basically have a hidden third hand if you need it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm actually feeling really comfortable with running this very slow Sledgehammer, because it doesn't feel like it's slowing me down. It feels like it's actually winning me action economy. So that was really interesting for me. And those were my entire weapon suite. That was everything I needed.
Yeah. So you, for context at home, there was... these were how you killed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in the deck killed. And then there was 3 that was like enemy management in the form of evasion. So pretty good spread, like 8 cards in your deck, right? Yeah. 8 of the 30 cards. Well, 33 cards. So technically 34 because Silas has 2 signatures. But like, yeah, it's like a good spread, and you found 1 and you were able to make it work. And of course, we also know Silas can just work with skill cards as well, which I'm sure you're going to talk about once you get to your skill cards as we get through here as well.
Absolutely. So the next thing I put in, relatively late, but I was really happy with it every time it showed up, was the Black Cat. Black Cat is just good soak. It's also a 2 wild icon if you want to throw it away after you've got one already in play. And I love that its ability is basically a form of token fixing that doesn't play with Bless or Curse. and that it's just there to help smooth out any problems you might be able to have.
Yeah.
So just having this in there with Silas just felt really good.
Yeah.
Every time I drew the Black Cat, I was like, okay, I'm safe.
Yeah. And the nice thing about your deck in Black Cat as well is that I don't think it ever happened where you exchanged your Elder Sign for this one, because Silas's Elder Sign is so good.
So good.
But it means that like you have the draw in theory that if the first one dies, you have the resources and the action available to just play the second one.
100%.
Yeah.
I do see why it's a 5 experience card, but being able to just declare that 2 of the big dangerous tokens.
Yeah, or just -1s. Yeah.
We actually played so hard, spoilers. We actually played so hard that some of this stopped mattering as much.
Yes, it's true. Yep.
But it still felt great to have.
Yes.
And a
yep.
3/3 soak, I'm happy to pay 10 experience for it by the time I get there.
Yeah, yeah.
So the next one I played was Grizzled. We're getting into my skills now. And so Grizzled is a very interesting card, felt incredibly strong.
Yeah, you
Silas.
loved this card.
I loved this card. I committed it to everything I could.
Mm-hmm.
Despite what it says, I chose humanoids, not humanals. Terror and monster. So I immediately went to try and get 3 traits.
Yeah, I think what you did is you put the monster on as penance for your sins.
Yes.
Like penitence for your sins of just being like, I think I committed this to something that wasn't a humanoid. And you're like, I want to fix that. So you just put the XP in right away.
Yeah, 100%. Because I did accidentally mess it up. I will say it's very much a tech that you should know what the pool is going to be like.
Yep.
And so in a very mixed pool, I think this would be a lot weaker.
Yeah, so that one's very interesting for Grizzled. The choices that are usually the default good ones are humanoid or monster. Those are like in every campaign. And then terror and like hex are usually pretty good ones as well.
Yeah. I ended up choosing scheme. I don't think it ever came up, but
No, so I think a funny thing is because you bought the always prepared to return them to your hand. Mm-hmm. But I actually think once you put that XP in your deck, you never ran into the Grizzleds needing to be necessary again. Just like, It's like 5 XP to just like rise above the Mythos deck. Like just as a person. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. But I really, really enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed it with Silas. Mm-hmm. Silas makes it feel really good to always be gambling with a card, to just be putting it out there to see what happens.
I was going to say that I think that you played that part of Silas really well, where you weren't worried about like the concept of losing the card. Like you were just like, I'm going to just throw this out here. Even like one where it only like puts you up 2, you were like, yeah, I'm going to still put this out here because I either pass the test and get rid of it, or I fail the test and I can like keep it, right? So it worked really well for that.
Yeah, exactly. I think Silas really plays well when you are, when you're in that mindset of just try it.
Yep, try it.
What's the harm?
Yep.
So yeah, Grizzle did really well. I pumped it full of experience, barely got any value out of it, but I loved it. I put in Unrelentings. Unrelenting is a hard card for me to understand. Mm-hmm. I only used it a few times to good effect. But I really enjoyed it when I did. Mm-hmm. And being able to pull it back with Silas was kind of silly.
Yeah, so this is like one of the weird like advanced Silas cards where you have to like go all in, and like Silas is like, he's kind of like Luke, where he levels up once you learn like timing windows, right? And like how certain cards work. Less about timing windows for Silas, but still kind of the same, because how it works is like, when is the effect on the card active and when is it not active? And it's a very interesting kind of thing to learn with Unrelenting and Silas.
Yeah, and it was really, really good when I needed card draw, but there were very few times I needed card draw, so I often didn't feel like I needed to do weird plays with it. Mm-hmm. And so I could also occasionally just play it straight with just locking in the tokens I didn't want to see.
Yeah, which was really cool to see. I will say that this one got through the gates a lot. Yeah. I think it was like 2 scenarios back to back where it got through the gates.
True.
I also think that the nature of your Silas deck, which was relying more on the sledgehammer as your weapon, it meant that you weren't as hard pressed on the resources in your hand, because like you could just hit with a sledgehammer and be able to beat most things, where a lot of Silas decks like Unrelenting because it lets them draw back up after spending out their whole hand to kill like a big boss monster.
Makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, and I could see Unrelenting was great. The next one I put in was Daring. Mm-hmm. Another card I absolutely loved, committed to everything I could all the time, anytime.
Yep. Eric's not lying there.
Yeah. It's 3 good cards. If you fail the shot, you're already wasting a skill card. Like here's my point on Daring. Mm-hmm. You're already wasting the shot. You want to draw 1 card. Mm-hmm. Why are you worried about Retaliate? Mm-hmm. just go.
Just go.
Just go for it.
Yep. Also, enemies can't get double retaliate, so if they already have it, this is just +3 and draw a card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just do it. Because if you miss, things already suck.
Yep.
So just hit. Just hit. Especially with Sledgehammer. This was really, really fun to throw in to just be like up 8.
Yes.
For no reason. Overpower, always. Just a good card.
Yeah, these kind of live in the same space of your deck. Yeah, they're kind of like the same thing.
The better version of Daring.
Yeah.
Dauntless Spirit was a late add, and I wish I had chosen it from the very beginning. Dauntless Spirit was so much fun. It was the only bit of protection against the Mythos that I had, and I mostly played it against you.
Yeah, well, no, you also had the Grizzleds.
Oh, right, and the Grizzleds.
But it shows that, like, for keeping yourself safe, 4 of those is really nice.
That's all you needed. And the best part was that these kept you safe as well.
Yes, you were able to commit them to me.
That was huge.
Which was very relevant during the course of that campaign.
Brute Force I nearly cut several times, and I'm so glad I didn't, because Brute Force came in handy so often. It was such a good... It's not, in my opinion, a standard Silas card, because you never want to pull it back, but is it good to just deal 3 damage for 1 action, and to go up 3 to hit. It's so good.
Can I offer an interesting perspective that you might not have thought about for Silas and Brute Force, of why Silas is probably one of the best users of it?
Oh.
It's because he ensures that it triggers.
True.
Other people you could potentially miss with it, like you could not succeed by 3. But if that happens with Silas, you say, you know what, I'm just going to run it back. I'm just going to take it back and then try for it again.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is very strong punch.
Yeah, and I mean, it does have to be, as you mentioned, higher than 2.
Yeah.
But with so much of what else Silas is doing, it often feels like this plus Daring.
Yeah, you're
I'm
5.
gold.
You're 5. Sorry, you're 6 actually. So that's a huge number to get to.
Huge. Strong Armed. I loved Strong Armed. I'm sure it's just a good card overall, but it's so good. The second half clause is good, but it doesn't even matter compared to how the first half clause is. A card that just says, if you're using a weapon, add 1 damage and 1 fist for no cost.
Yeah, it's like Vicious Blow. And Silas, the thing that Silas was really missing was a Vicious Blow type card to get him to really just have that extra little damage hump to beat with weapons.
Yeah.
So Strong Arm's very nice in him for that reason.
Absolutely. I think it's such a good card. No complaints. Stunning Blow was funny. I didn't use it very often, but when I did...
Yeah, it was very good as well.
Yeah. The fact that it doesn't specify a non-elite enemy.
Yep, so you can use it to lock down bosses on the attack. Yep.
Huge.
Very good for that.
Yeah, most important part of it, in my opinion.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I put in Resourceful. It was good. It's just a good card. I basically only used it for the purpose of recurring when I was already pretty sure I was going to be up. But again, with Silas, if you're only going up 1 or 2, try.
Yep.
Just try it out. Try and get a good card back.
Yep.
And so that was my entire skill pool.
Yeah, so actually a good thing to always look at is how much we're in each of these. And I think also it was really cool to see what you prioritized in bringing back with Resourceful, because it kind of shifted as the game went, right? In the early game, you would bring back Grizzled all the time, which I think was the right choice. And then later in the game, you would start bringing back Brute Force or even Unrelenting, depending on what you needed at the time.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was cool to see that shift as the game changed and got even a Stunning Blow, bringing that back at the right time. Man, yeah, you did have a lot in your Silas deck. So you had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 skills, which is... So then, of our 34 cards, we have then 8 assets to kill with. So we're looking at the last little bit here, but really good balance of skills that we see in this Silas deck here.
Yeah. And I will say also that Silas was able to get off the ground really effectively with very little experience.
Yep.
Which is, I put in some Cherished Keepsakes sakes. I only had them blow up once. I did at one point throw one away just so that it didn't get exiled.
Very smart move.
Which was very fun. Just a good card to have, because it kind of rounds out it puts you as a 9/9.
Yep.
Which is, with flying and Death Touch is just...
pretty strong.
Pretty strong. And then... This is why I bring up the Silas has so much XP. So if you've noticed, I've mentioned at least 3 cards that I sunk about 20 XP into and barely used.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. I bought this and never, ever played it or drew it.
Yeah, so some slight spoilers for the final scenario. This is what Eric put in leading into the final scenario, and they just didn't show up. So it's not like they were there early and just never came to be, but it was just like this was going to the final scenario just the way the deck did. These never came into play there. But yeah, Silas is very low to the ground, and survivors in general are. So that's the nice thing about them is they can make it work with little, but then they scale. They don't really like, the idea is they don't scale up as much, but because Silas has the ability to recur things, it kind of makes him able to scale up.
And it did feel that way. Like, if you'll notice, I ran no economy.
Yep.
I never felt a need to. I was low to the ground for cost. I was low to the ground for XP cost. And so it just felt like halfway through the campaign, I was like, okay, Silas is done. Like, everything else is gravy. And all I need to do now is focus on core gameplay loops to be able to just win consecutively.
Yeah, and I think also this is the first of these deck retrospectives where there's not some cards that you were like, yeah, I put these in, and they just didn't, like...
Fire.
They never did anything. So I feel like this was a very... I think this is like the first deck that you took and you were just like, you made it work completely without like any weaknesses. I see no weaknesses in that Silas deck.
Yeah. It felt really good.
All right, and coming with Silas was Ursula Downs, who I brought in with the perspective of not joking around. Because we talked about this when we were doing our Hemlock Vale retrospective for our decks, where it was very much of a, I think I'm letting Eric down with some of the decks that I'm bringing. So I said, I'm just going to bring a try-hard deck for the next scenario, for the next campaign rather, and this deck tried very hard, and it succeeded very well. I believe that Ursula is very good in 2-player because her ability, in fact, practically empties half a location for most of the locations in the game. I think she loses some of her sauce when she goes up to higher levels for that, but at 2-player, she's smooth like butter. And then I also brought into Ursula my favorite archetype, which is the steady-handed precision archetype for the Seeker class. This is something that I think I might actually have a problem, because Chemistry Set and Steady-Handed have just been going into like the majority of my decks. Because what do I love more than anything else in ARKHAM? Value. I just like it when you can turn something that is there every turn into value. And as you can attest to, Eric, I did do that in this campaign, where I would take an action and like get 2 clues, draw a card, get a resource, like just every turn.
Spoilers, I won't say which one it's for, but at one point Justin drew 7 cards, got 2 clues, and at least $2.
Yeah, and I moved across the map.
And moved across the map.
In one turn, yeah.
In one turn. And moved 4 squares minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, and pushed the objective forward.
Yes, and I did push the objective.
Yeah.
So the Precision Archetype got some support in Drowned City. So these are both from Hemlock, but they got further support in Drowned City in the form of Artistic Inspiration, which is kind of like an alternative version of Steady-Handed, but also the Antikythera, which is... I before I played it, Daniel from Quick Learner told me the card was very strong, and I believed him. But if it's somehow possible, I now double believe him that it's very strong. Because this card was just insane. Like, it's just so much value for one card to turn everything you do into either a free clue or a free upkeep or a free action. What's the wildest part about this card, for how good it is the fact that the bottom action where you get a free action is the one that I was least excited to trigger. Like, that's how you know the card is good. When these ones are, like the first 2, which is just get an upkeep, guard a card and a resource, or get a clue, triggering those every turn is just nuts. With that said, though, I don't think the Antikythera is busted. I think for 5 XP, that's a pretty good effect for what it does. But the card's absolutely wild.
Well, I think what's interesting about this card, too, is that it absolutely plays into a particular archetype, and that it passively gains value, which is great, but it passively gains value while taking up a slot. There's nothing you can do with the Antikythera to activate it, unless you are playing a bunch of support. So I think that helps control it.
Yeah, you can try to like just hope you get something, and it's probably okay to just play the Antikythera without any of this stuff, But this allowed me to trigger what I wanted when I wanted to, which was made it better than just like, as you said, it takes a slot. It's just value, and that's good. But if you're building around something else in that accessory slot, you could probably do better.
Yeah.
But if you're doing this, it's very good.
Oh, yeah, and consistent.
Then I also had a one of lab coat, which kind of fits into this archetype, but it never actually really did anything. And I kind of regret putting it in, but I was like, I'm going to wear this lab. This was me making the mistake of being like, I could be a little bit silly. I've played this card into lots of decks, and it's always been awful. And I think I just need to accept that I should stop playing it and trying it out. But what can you do? All right, so that's the precision archetype that we had in this deck here. But I also had some Ursula things in the form of free movement. When I was putting this deck together, so this is actually kind of funny, how little there is here for the free movement, but how much I was moving freely in the campaign. When we were putting our decks in the order we wanted to talk about them, having like this, this is it? This is all I had? This is all I had here? But for how much it actually felt the impact for what they did.
Well, and part of the craziness of that was it was because of how well you fixed your deck. Mm-hmm. You just drew till you found what you wanted, and that was often Pathfinder.
Yes, yeah. Oh, speaking of, going back to the last ones, I had a Relic Hunter to deal with having both the chemistry set and the Antikythera in play.
Oh, okay.
Which was just a little bit extra gravy. Not necessarily needed. Like, you could just turn the chemistry sets into the Antikythera, but I wanted both, god damn it. Additionally, to follow up with this Ursula thing, we had some abilities to investigate with, because it's just taking investigate action. So it could be a basic, or you could do a burning the midnight oil or a seeking answers too, which I've actually been playing a lot of this card more. And it's actually pretty impressive. It's gone up in my how I rate cards.
Every time I saw it, it was generally it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get ahead of the camp of the scenario now.
Yep. All right. Next up, we're gonna call the try-hard pile. The things that just made my decks super consistent and super good, while also being maybe a little bit boring. But
S tier, if you will.
Or D tier on your tier list.
Or D tier.
2 copies of Studious to make sure so my hand was loaded with what I wanted at the start of each scenario. 2 copies of Magnifying Glass, just to make myself good at investigating.
So just to confirm this, the way Studious works is you start with 1 additional card, but then you still get to mulligan, right?
Yes, so you mulligan with 7 cards as opposed to 5. So you can see 14 cards of your deck as opposed to 10.
So you can touch half your deck.
Yes, pretty much.
To decide what you need.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
That's busted.
Yep. We got 2 Dr. Milan Christophers, just ally of choice to just get the job done. We had 2 upgraded perceptions because I'm a Justin deck, so I'm going to have 2 upgraded perceptions. That's a rule. I have to follow it. And then I had 2 copies of Cryptic Research to just draw cards fast. I gave them to Eric sometimes, but I took them for myself a lot too. But this is just the pile of boring stuff. And like, so you might be saying, where's the fun stuff? And it was the broken stuff I was doing with all this stuff. So that's where the fun's going to stop.
The fun stops at value, kids.
Yeah. My 1 economy card.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the Burning the Midnight Oils as well.
You had the Burning the Midnight Oils,
and
you had the Crystal Milan.
But the reality is, once things got settled, this was giving me a lot of juice to make sure I was able to buy what I wanted to buy when I wanted to buy it. We had 2 deductions to just get more clues. And this is what we're going to call the weird pile, which was like some interesting choices that I think they all impacted the game. Eye of Truth was put in for the last scenario, so we only saw it there. It was just because I had 5 experience and didn't know what to put in. I had an existential riddle. I added that to replace the transmogrifies. As part of my forward drive to just make sure these decks won, I went hard in the first scenario for also enemy management to deal with the Deep One Bulls. The transmogrifies left, but the existential riddle was upgraded out of one of them. And then I had this extensive research to something for me to spend my resources on, just to get some clues. I played this pretty much every scenario. I had it in my hand for some of them that never saw play, but because that's a sign that you didn't need it if it was just in your hand, because you were just getting enough clues with all your other tricks. But overall, I think this is one of the strongest decks I've played in a while. And it was very fun, because it was just fun to take a test and then turn 5 cards sideways
and draw 5 more
Yeah,
cards.
like it was just that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right. Let me cut off your head again. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. The final scenario should be coming out this week, and then next week we're going to be doing Eric's Innsmouth thoughts on the Innsmouth campaign. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I want to do a huge shout out to all of our patrons. There we go. Eric's back. You guys all rock. Our next campaign that we're going to be doing is Edge of the Earth. I don't know when that campaign is going to start on the channel, but keep your eyes for it, and we're going to have a great time playing that one too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.